everybody, and welcome back to the Entertainment Brick Show. Today, we are back talking Andor after 3 weeks, because now we officially have the next arc completed here. And man, this is shaping up to be my favorite Star Wars show, because what an absolutely incredible arc that we just had these past 3 weeks, and what an ending too. I just finished watching the new episode, the latest episode. What was that one called? I forget already. Yeah, I don't remember. Or the Eye. That's what it's called, the Eye. And wow, what an episode! Insanely heavy, super crazy to say the least. I mean, so much happened, so much is going on in the show right now. And again, it was super emotional, super heavy, intense the entire time. And what an ending too. The ending was crazy, absolutely crazy. So I'm super excited to talk about these episodes here. Again, we're just going to do like a quick rundown. We're not going to do a full-blown, in-depth rundown, but of course, major spoilers for these last 3 episodes, because again, this is a spoiler chat, spoiler review, if you will. And yeah, this is crazy. So basically, episode 4 starts out with us, Andor in this case, meeting with these people that Luthen Rail set up for him to do a heist job on an Imperial outpost base, sort of, on this planet called Aldhani. And already right off the bat, we get introduced to this group of characters, this band of rebels who all, have their own unique personality traits. Some are a little bit more sketchier than others, and some of them are genuinely very good people, very good rebel characters. And this whole episode 6 here, when we get to that, I mean, it's really heavy. It's a really heavy episode, very heavy episode. And yeah, Andor just gets introduced to the team, basically meets everybody, and learns about the plan and stuff like that, makes his way over to this like little rebellion camp that they have set up to perform the heist on, and he has to learn all what's going to happen during the heist. And as well, in some side stories, a new villain character, Dedra Miro, who is like the Imperial villain that we have here, is trying to investigate the Andor situation on Ferrix, as well as learning more about Andor, because she herself wants to take the job, not some other lieutenant or Imperial officer, who I forget his name is, but he's kind of on the Ferrix job, but she wants to be on that job instead. And then as well as Luthen Rail being kind of somewhat anxious about how the mission's going to go, because of course he's kind of the one who set it up, but he's not really a part of it. He's just back in Coruscant trying to live this double life, if you will, as a what is he, like a jewelry or like relics merchant on Coruscant, which is very cool, by the way. And we also get some more insight on Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma has finally reached the show. In episode 4, she was introduced, or in the show. And her story is very interesting. She has her whole family's kind of against her, which is sad. And she, has very strong political views that aren't really being listened to. But yeah, that's kind of like the main 4 stories that we're introduced to. Oh, and plus there's another story with Surreal Karn, who's kind of just like hanging out with his mother, or living with his mother now, because he kind of lost his job as a Morlana 1 officer, on considering the whole Ferrix situation. So, yeah. Episode 4 basically sets up all the storylines, and then episode 5 goes deeper into those storylines and adds more to those storylines. So we get stronger connections with this band of rebellion characters that Andor's with, as well as learning more about them, learning more about the plan and what's going to happen here. For the Imperial case, we're just kind of, again, learning more about what the actual, what Dedra Miro's, trying to figure out when it comes to Andor. Same thing with Mon Mothma. We learn more about like how her family's against her. Like, nothing too crazy happened in episode 5. It was just kind of like generally the similar stuff that happened in episode 4, just kind of amplified. Gave us more details, a little bit more details. But episode 6 is where everything comes to a crazy situation. I explained that awfully, but you get the purpose. It is wild. Episode 6 was crazy. So, of course, with every great heist movie comes some sort of issue with the plan. The plan can't go exactly how everybody wants it to go, and this is exactly what happens. Basically, what happens is, as they're doing the plan's going fairly well, pretty great. Everybody's doing their job, but things are taking a little longer. They're starting to fall behind on time a little bit, because it's taking a little bit extra time for Vel and Clinta, I believe their names are. their team to kind of get their situations done because Vel is um, stalling the time, which obviously isn't great, and it ends up sending them back a little bit on their heist. And as you know, they keep going on with the plan, they keep following the plan, and at this point, everything seems to be going somewhat smoothly. You know, they've successfully infiltrated the base completely. They're beginning moving the valuables to the ship to escape on, but then their comm links seem to be active again, or something along those lines, or the signal becomes active again, and one of the Imperial comms people is able to hear it and investigates it, and causing a mass shootout basically in the underground of the base there that they were escaping from. I believe Vel dropped one of the valuable items that they were going after. I don't know exactly what they were off the top of my head, but drops one of the valuable items, and they have to leave it. A lot of people die. Basically, the entire team dies. I believe there's a character, Taraman, I believe was how you say his name. I don't remember exactly. Who was an ex-stormtrooper, and I believe he gets shot. And then the only people to really make it onto the ship was Andor himself, obviously, Vel, Karis, or Nemec, whatever, and Arvel Skeen, who are four of the members of that band of rebellion characters. But the rest, well, Clinta, actually, I think Clinta got out because she was taking care of the hostages. She was holding the hostages. I think she got out successfully. I didn't exactly see what happened to Gorn. He may have gotten shot as well. I missed that if he did. So yeah, he was there as well. I don't remember exactly what happened to him, but yeah, I mean, it was a wild episode again, and then even the ending here that I just recently watched, crazy, absolutely crazy. Nemec, who was like the nicest, like he's probably the most purest of the rebel characters that we meet. He ends up getting caught behind some of the valuable items and becomes paralyzed and dies. And that was like, I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. And then Skeen ends up being some sort of like, I don't know. He said he was a part of the rebellion in some capacity, but he's really only looking out for himself. So he ends up trying to make a deal with Cassian, which doesn't really which he doesn't really work. And Cassian ends up killing Skeen. And then it just ends up being Vel and Andor talking, and we didn't really get to see what happened to Vel, really. She may have survived. She might actually, yeah, she might be still alive. But basically, Cassian ran off with his money. Basically, he ran off with his cut of the plan. And yeah, I mean, absolutely crazy episode. The whole ending, I was like, oh my god. It just, we start off with this team that seems like a good amount of them are going to survive here, and they all end up really dying, which was crazy. I mean, I kind of expected it, to be honest with you, very much like a Rogue One situation, but it still, it still was very like, wow, that's crazy that they all just end up dying in the end of the episode, basically. Again, minus Vel, I don't know exactly if she died or not, as well as Clinta, and again, I believe Gorn probably have gotten killed because his disguise as an Imperial really got kind of made there, so I don't know exactly what happened to him off the top of my head because I don't remember, or actually I think I remember seeing it, I must not been paying attention, but regardless, wild, crazy episode, so much happened, but loved it, absolutely loved it, cannot wait for next week's and the start of a new arc. But now it's time to get into the sets. Let's start talking about them, starting with episode 4. One of the sets would be the kind of like the rebellion camp. This is, in my eyes, this would be kind of like a battle pack, sort of. It will be a $30 battle pack, basically. It'll come with Cassian Andor from episode 4 in his Clem disguise. It'll come with Vel Sartha, who is Vel, one of the main leaders of this plan here. It'll come with Karis Nemec, who's the guy that got paralyzed and passed and died, which was awful. Again, he was like super nice. He seemed like a very like level-headed, very very pure rebel, and sadly the rest of them really weren't. Arvel Skeen, who was the guy who tried to make a plan to for him and Andor to escape with the money, but he ended up getting killed by Andor. Taraman Barcona, who was the guy who I believe got shot. Yeah, he got shot trying to take down one of the Imperial officers. Clinta Kaz, who was taking care of the hostages again, I believe she made it out alive. And then Lieutenant Gorn himself. So the builds here would be the rebellion camp, kind of like little wooden tents and things like that as some of the builds. You'll have like the fire pit and like some of the fenced in sheep and like animals or whatever they were there. And then you also have Lieutenant Gorn's speeder as well that he flies in on in episode 4 or 5, I think. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, so again, basically a battle pack for your kind of like main characters of these past episodes included in this set here. Then for episode 5, this one was really tough to find a set based off of just because there was a lot of talking. This episode wasn't really a lot of action, so it was kind of tough to make a set based off of this episode here. But I ended up getting kind of lucky here with Mon Mothma's Coruscant Cruiser, as I'm calling it, and that'll be like around the $30 range. I was thinking it would come with Mon Mothma, Cloris, who is her driver, and Perrin Furtha, which I think is her husband, who's just a terrible guy, turning her whole family against her. And the builds here would just be Mon Mothma's Coruscant cruiser ship that she flew around in Coruscant. I know it was in episode 4 and episode 5, so why not just include it here? Because again, I couldn't think of anything else really. And then episode 6, the set for that would be the Imperial base or Aldhani infiltration, whatever. And it would be around the $50 range, I was thinking. Come with Cassian Andor. Come with Commandant J-Hole Behaz, from what I'm reading here, who was kind of like one of the main commanders in this episode. Lieutenant Gorn also would be included in here, and then 2 Imperial soldiers who would be, just from the underground base there. And then the builds would obviously just be like a playset of that actual Imperial base. So you have the top deck. You could have a character standing on and watching the celestial, or like what it was, like a meteor shower or whatever it was. I don't know exactly what it was. The festival, the local festival. And then you can also have like your middle section of the build there, which would just kind of be like the entrance to the place and stuff, and then maybe even a bottom section which kind of shows like where the ship would be kept and stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically it for the sets here. I'm kind of running out of time, so I'm gonna try and make this quick. But basically, amazing arc. Loved the arc here. Great episode this week. Absolutely loved the episode. Again, super emotional, super intense the entire time, and I can't say enough good things about it. So regardless, that's it for this arc of arc number 2 for Andor. Next week is going to be episode 7 already, man, 7. And then once that arc is complete after, I think, episode 9, I will do a video on that. So there you go. Hopefully I'll have more time to make that video. So anyways, if you enjoyed that video, do the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.